Speaking of these gold mining shows, the one I've been watching too is Aussie Gold Hunters. And what's interesting there is one of there's a couple of guys who are from Victoria doing the goldfields there. And their problem has been with, yes who, Daniel Andrews' government. They cannot get the okay to do their mining. They've been held up by bureaucracy, and they're asking for bloody cultural heritage type okays and what have you, a whole lot of bureaucratic gobbledygook that's costing them time and money, and we're talking big money. I think it was 150,000 to get this study done. They're doing everything they can to put people off mining and stopping business, and it's just so typical that this is from Victoria with the Daniel Andrews government. There you go. Oh well, this is Cairns on Wednesday, the 1st of July, at the beginning of a new financial year, so I've got to do my tax. It's a joyous occasion. Should get a decent return, but not as much as before because my dividends have taken a hit, so I won't be getting as much back that I normally get, and interest on the money I've got is absolutely pathetic, so that's no good. It's about 23 degrees here at the moment, and I checked out Melbourne expecting it to be absolutely freezing, but it's actually quite a nice day down there apparently. I guess they need something to cheer them up because things are pretty tough in Victoria with all the COVID-19 shutdown areas. I'm glad, like I say, I keep saying I'm glad I got out of there. And of course we have opened the borders today, or not today, but it will be open on the 10th, and that was not a certainty. So only a little over a week or so to go before the borders opened up here, which is good, but to New South Wales, not Victoria, which is understandable, and that's something I argued on the Sky News web page. You know, you can make comments there, and I said that they should open up the border to New South, but just hold off on Victoria for the time being. I think that's a reasonably sensible idea, so I actually applaud Palaszczuk on that one, but I cannot believe the woman actually had the gall to say that she blamed it was Morrison and federal government for the delays with opening borders. I mean, what an absolutely ridiculous thing to say. She's the one responsible for it. But she's trying to divert all attention, take absolutely no responsibility. There you go. The ubiquitous skateboarders. I just found that really rich. But I'm not a big fan of her anyway. I think she's pretty dumb. And she's got cunning. She's got rat cunning, I'll give her that. Labor Party's like that. They're ruthless at winning elections. And they might even win, you know. I think it'd be a tragedy for the state if we had another reign of Labor governments here. But to Deb Frecklington's credit, who's the opposition leader, she's virtually invisible. But to her credit, she did actually say that we should open the borders. So that was good, because public opinion apparently is supposedly around 83%. God, crazy drivers. 83% against opening borders. Now, I don't necessarily believe anything I hear when it comes to public opinion polls after the last federal election. I think they're a bit of a joke, so take it with a grain of salt, as I always say. So, and the weather, in Melbourne it's 17 degrees and sunny, which is only, a differential of 6 degrees, which is quite extraordinary for winter. And we've had more. This is like typical Melbourne day as far as the drizzle's concerned. So interesting, grey skies and drizzle, and it's been off and on like this for ages. This should not be happening this time of year, but as I said, it's good that it's happening when people can't get up here. Hopefully it'll start clearing from now on, because at least in a week's time or so people will be able to flock back up here, but they've missed the school holidays unfortunately, so bit rough. I just got to go up to Lily Creek again, up to the hospital, just sign away my life. God knows what these forms entail, but I've got to sign some forms. So it's okay, gets me out of the house. I always feel better when I had a walk, and so that's good. And I'm thinking about maybe instituting a new feature every week, and that is Scumbag of the Week. And I've got one already nominated for this one. It's someone I wouldn't have expected, but I found out that this person is an avid supporter of the Chinese Communist Party, and I was not impressed. Do you know who I'm talking about, I wonder? A movie star, a very big movie star. Have a think about it. I was still surprised. I mean, it's a he, I'll give you that. It's a he, and he doesn't need the money, that's for sure. If there's any kickbacks, he doesn't need them. So I'm quite staggered why he would do this, but well, you just don't know. But the name of the man is, if you haven't already guessed, is Jackie Chan. Well, very disappointed. Very disappointed. I mean, someone that's got that wealth, influence already, why would he need to crawl to the Communist Party of China, for God's sake? Unless one of his relatives is rotting away in a prison or something. I mean, maybe that'd be a fair enough motivation, but apart from that, not impressed. Oh, hospital visit completed, very quick and efficient, very good. Signing away my life, as you can see, very grey. There's not much breeze though, it's actually quite a good YouTube day. Constant light and no breeze, so it's quite good for the GoPro. There were a few issues. I should write these things down. It's actually easier to do it at home because I feel more inclined to talk when I'm walking. I think getting the blood moving and what have you, I don't know what the psychology is, but feels better. It's one of the bars that's reopened. Cock and Bull. I only went in there once. It has really convoluted setup with tables and what have you. It's a real rabbit warren. You've got to say, PJs, the patrons haven't been particularly friendly. I don't know where these people should be going now. There's a lot of traffic, I'll tell you. Coming up here, I struck a lot of traffic down the roundabout. So people are definitely out and about. So it's going to get pretty busy. This is normally the busiest time of the year. One thing you do notice though, you don't see the minivans, all the tourist minivans. They're virtually everywhere during a normal year, but they've just gone into hibernation, so that's to be expected, I guess. Anyway, it is good that we've got some progress happening now. I feel really badly for the people that are trying to run businesses. At least in having New South Wales open, it will give them some hope. There's going to be some income stream, and hopefully New South won't have the same problems that Victoria did. I did actually say that I thought Victoria would have a worse bout of the COVID-19 simply because the winter's more severe. Now, I don't know whether it's just that. It could be bungling by Andrews. I'm not a big fan of him either. Look, to be honest, it actually goes across parties. I'm not a super big fan of Berejiklian in New South, and she's supposedly a Liberal leader, but very left of centre Liberal. She does some things very well. She was a very good Transport Minister in New South Wales, apparently, but and on a personal basis, she seems like a decent sort of person, but I think a lot of these politicians, they try to play it safe too much. You don't get many pollies that'll stick their necks out and do the right thing. That's why actually I sort of admire someone like Sam Newman with that. That's the other issue I was talking about, this bending the knee thing. You know, it's a lot of peer group pressure by sporting groups. They all the players are sort of they will go in line with that policy. The thing about the bending the knee thing, it's all symbolic. It's not going to do any good for George Floyd or George Floyd's that are going to be victims of police excessive violence. but it's a rare thing, thank God. So I just I think that it's not really relevant about him being a dodgy character. That's, yeah, well, you know, he's in obviously a lot of dodgy characters in police custody. That's just how it goes as part of the course. But that doesn't mean that their lives should be threatened. You know, we did abolish the death penalty, and I sort of supported that in the past. So, and I still do. It'd have to be something really extreme crime to knock someone off. It's annoying you have to pay for the upkeep of the person, though. The taxpayer's out of pocket for someone who's a fairly despicable individual. But, you know, philosophically, you can say what makes people such arseholes, you know. So, we're not born like that, are we? Maybe we are. Maybe some are. We're just badasses. Yeah, there's a plane. I've been seeing a few more planes, so yeah, things are definitely on the up and up, pardon the pun, but they are. I have noticed more traffic on the ground, and there's definitely more aircraft going up. So I think now political leaders realise they've just got to get the economy going. And I will say this for ScoMo, Slow-Mo ScoMo, his messaging's been very good. He realises that more damage can be caused by having a high unemployment rate. People die because of high unemployment. They literally die. There's actually a correlation between an unemployment rate and the death rate. And this COVID outbreak has definitely led to people suiciding, for one thing, or just maybe self-inflicting other ways, not just that, but many different health outcomes. People are missing out on, say, cancer screening, that type of thing, because of it. So yeah, there's a lot of implications. It's quite complex. It's not as simple as just looking at the raw numbers of COVID-19, which again, I don't think, it may be a bad flu, but I'm not convinced it's much more than that at this stage. But the press love beating up a story, and they've been complicit in getting a very edgy population even more nervous by making it seem worse than it is. So yeah, that's my take on it anyway. And again, as I've said to you, I always think we should be vigilant. We don't take stupid risks. I followed their directions, probably more than most people initially. So I'm not someone who's just going to ignore the possibility of something being bad, you know. But once we got more information about this particular virus, it became apparent that it wasn't nearly as bad as a lot of scaremongers would have us believe. Because there is money to be made scaring the crap out of people. It's simple as that. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you think there's anything there of use to you, or entertainment, or whatever. And either do that, or give me a thumbs up, or if you're feeling really energetic, do both. That'd be great. But please don't ignore me. That's the worst thing you can do on YouTube, is be ignored.